I don't know what just happened. I just hit the go live button twice, so I might have started it and stopped it. So we're gonna find out if I'm on here. I never can get this thing smooth at the beginning. Pair of pants over my shoulder this way. Where is it? Over here? That's weird. My screen that I'm seeing myself in is not mirrored, so everything's the reverse of where I'm pointing. It's weird. All right, let's see here. I'm gonna look at my other monitor and see, and it's working. All right. All right. So anyway, got to do my every other day drone practice here. Start up the controller. I turned on the volume a bunch the other day because when the battery gets low, it just starts warning me forever. And the battery lasts a long time, even though it says low battery, whatever the heck it says, over and over and over. So I want to make sure that we're good to go. All right, this is plugged in. Now, I'm probably just going to fly around here for a little bit. And uh-oh, what is this? Oh my God, it's me. It's one of my zombie me's that I was sculpting in ZBrush the other day. Get out of here. All right. The arm. Oh my gosh, I'm way more comfortable now. Okay. Ta-da! All right, I gotta figure this thing out. So, have my chat. Is it working? It's working here. It's weird. Usually my chat will pop up in my screen here, but it says sign into chat. So let me do the live stream on my OBS recorder here. It's clearly working, but usually my chat comes up here. I can still see it on the other screen. It is slightly delayed, but let's do some drone action here. Let me get this switched over. Scene, pow. All right, drone time. Ba-dang. All right, we are going to just do single player. Now, if this is your first time here, I am relatively new to this FPV stuff. I do have some other drone experience, but FPV is quite different. And I've been flying, this is my 12th. This will be my 12th hour, I think. But I'm subtracting 4 hours from that because I started to practice with the guardrails turned on the drones, and it really was a big waste of time. So once I turned it off, I basically had to relearn everything. So, continue. Apocalypse. This is a pretty fun board. Which one did I do the other day? Bando's fun. Apocalypse is fun. Where's the other one down here? There's another one. Factory is pretty cool. We're going to switch it up. I'm just going to do this for a little while. Let's do Factory again. And I'm going to put my headphones on so I can hear what the heck is going on here. Whoa. All right. Party time. And let's try this one here. We'll see how it goes. Oh my gosh. I don't like it always minimizes. There we go. Full screen. Is there anybody in here with me yet? I don't know. Usually it takes a bit for anybody to show up, and not that many people watch anyway, so. Alright, let's go fly around this place and see what we can see. Whoa, and immediately crash because awesome. But that's why we need a simulator, because when I get a real drone soon, I don't want to be wiping out every 2 seconds. Oh my God. I gotta get used to maneuvering around stuff. Going through little things. Oh my God, I just smacked that wall, but it didn't wipe me out. We started to watch the Brutalist today. We went to see it. We saw it in IMAX, and it was really good. And then, a little less than halfway through the movie, the projector broke. And all of a sudden, the screen just turned off, no more movie, and the lights came on. And we literally thought there was going to be like something bad happening out in the lobby or something. We didn't know what was going on. So Natalie's like, should we head to the exit? And I was like, yeah. I just kind of went down there, and then I was like, I'm gonna go peek out in the lobby and just see if some havoc is breaking out in there. So I didn't know what was going on, and went out to the lobby. Nothing was happening, and the people that were working there had no idea that there was anything wrong in our theater. So I said, hey, the movie just stopped, and the lights came on, and it's boring in there without the movie playing. And it turned out there was some problem with the thing, with the projector, and then they were on the phone with the IMAX company to try to figure out how to get the projector to work. And they figured it out, but it was going to screw up the schedule for the next movie, so they gave us passes to come back at another time. And they actually should have given us 2 passes now that I think of it, because they gave us passes to come back and see the movie, but they should have given us another one for the trouble. That's my opinion. I bet if I complained, they would do that. Oh, dang it. All right. Let's get out of this factory. There's some, I think some of the other ones are more interesting. Change track. Let's see. Factory. Listen, I did another one the other day. Dynamic Polyworld's boring. Football stadium, boring. Future hangar, kind of boring. I think these, like, people make the courses in there, the race courses with a bunch of, you know, little gates to kind of go through, and they are pretty cool. Inter go-kart's okay. Industrial Wasteland, I think, is the one I kind of like. Let's go check that one out. Let's go to the list here. Let's grab one of these random ones. Let's see how it is. That was weird. Yeah, there we go. I was like, oh, it didn't change up. All right. And I'm not going to hit start. I'm just going to fly around. I'm not going to do the actual racing yet. I don't think I'm good enough. Every time I go do the race, it stresses me out and I start crashing constantly. So we're going to look around these buildings and see what we can fly through. Oh, bounced off the ground, but didn't crash me out, so that's cool. And trying to make everybody sick here by, you know, watching the screen. Everybody needs motion sickness pills just to get through one of my live streams. Sorry, guys. Again, I'm just learning this, so my emotions are a little bit rough. Now, should be pretty good. And then also, across the street from our house, they just fixed the sidewalk because there's this huge tree and it was pushing the sidewalk up where the roots were growing underneath the different, you know, the different individual sidewalk blocks. Some of them were pushed up and it was probably like a tripping hazard or something, and so the city came in and added some new sidewalk, and then we got home tonight and somebody already drew a giant dick in the sidewalk. It wasn't me, actually, unfortunately, because that was pretty funny. Oh, dang it. So that was amusing. Now it's like, should we write our names in the sidewalk? It's like, no, I don't want to do that. I'm not a teenager anymore. I feel kind of bad. But, yeah, I went over there and I said, somebody already wrote something, and it looked giant pecker. It's like this, probably 5.5 feet long. And funny looking, you know, kind of stuff you draw in a notebook when you're a kid. Whoa. All right. Oh my God. All right, factory. Let's go. Let's go. Keep it low to the ground and see if I can go through some of these other things. This is one of the things I got to work on a lot too, is controlling my altitude as much as possible, so I don't, you know, go zipping way up in the sky, which is an easy way to not get in an accident, is to fly up and over everything. But if you're flying close to stuff and through things, I gotta like get those skills nailed in before I get my real drone, so that I can not destroy it immediately. I feel like I'm making improvements. Again, this stuff a few days ago, I couldn't do at all. So, it didn't crash me out. So yeah, so anyway, I'm doing these like kind of like loopy, quick turns. Oh, dang it, messed it up. So the thing I'm bad at besides most of this, is like going. Oh, that was bad. It's going fast and then doing like turning around and keeping my bearings. So if I went through this, I turn on this way to go through the next one. It takes me a second to like line it up. And I watch a lot of the drone racer guys that are really good at this. They can just whip the drone right around super fast. And I don't know how to do that yet. I feel like you have to like tilt it down to stop yourself and then quickly tilt it back up to get your drone realigned with whatever you're flying through. You know, like this kind of thing. Whoop. Like turn it and just keep your eyes on it. Because a lot of these times they're racing to go through the gates. I see them do the turn as they pass through, and then they're kind of keeping their point of view on the next gate that's coming up, and just sort of like, you know, I guess drifting through the gate. Broken drone. What's kind of cool on the simulator is if I'm actually like, if I hit that start button down at the bottom and I start doing the race, it's on a timer. If I mess up and hit some stuff, the drone will fly poorly. You'll damage the rotors and stuff, and the drone will not fly correctly. Oh, dang it. Like if I did that, I would have some issues really quick. Yeah, the factory's pretty cool. There's a helicopter on one side of this thing. Let's see, is it this way? There it is. And I think if I do this right, I could fly through the helicopter. Oh, but not like that. And doing the races, because it's on a timer, it's way more stressful, and I'm not good enough yet to like deal with that stress. Oh, there goes the coffee. Cut through the building here. We go to the downstairs. Can I get through there? Kind of. Oh my god. Oh my god. I almost made it. As soon as I start going, I start crashing. As soon as I feel confident and I think about that, I'm feeling pretty good, I will crash. Ah, Jesus. Devin, pretty sick watching. Thank you, man. Neil, nice job. You almost punched a hole through the chopper. I know. Well, thankfully it's not one of those, you know, firefighter choppers, because I would be in trouble with the FAA for sure. Oh, there's like an Apache. Let's see here. Can I get through there? Oh, dang it. Not quite getting it yet. So, anyway, that's the deal. So I'm trying to get through these little spaces, and I'm getting better at it for sure. But it's definitely, sometimes if I get in too close, I'm not good at doing tight maneuvers yet. If I can line it up a little ways out, then I can usually make it. Unlike this one that I just missed, that I was going to show off and fly through that little red gate and missed it right away. Oh, dang it. Okay. So anyway, that's that. And then if you guys were on here before, you know, I'm trying to study up to get my Part 107 drone license. Now, this is one factor of it I'd like to do, and I have a couple DJI cinema style drones. And if you're here before, you've heard me say this like 10 times. Which I can already fly those pretty decently. They're pretty easy. But the FPV stuff is new to me, and it's very different than flying those drones. It's like a lot more skill is involved. So I'm trying to get good at this as well, so that when I get my Part 107 drone license, I can sell my skills. I can offer not only cinema drone style flying, which again is much easier than this, but FPV style flying, which would be cool, because then I could do stuff like film race cars and do architectural fly-throughs that are more a little more natural feeling. I think like they look really cool when they're done with FPV drones versus the cinema drones. So I want to have this in my wheelhouse, because I feel like a lot of drone operators don't do FPV, like the ones that do it commercially. Chuck McGee, hey. All right, welcome back. Oh, and wow, I didn't crash I almost made it through that. If I didn't give up immediately because I thought I crashed, it would have been okay. Whoa, up. Almost. Dang it. Nice, sounds fun. It will be fun, I think. And, oh shoot. Yeah, doing the FPV just feels so much more like you're flying versus just like an establishing shot kind of aerial footage, which is nice. But the FPV feels like you're flying in that way. So I always really, really liked it. I followed a lot of FPV pilots for a long time, and I'm pretty excited to start doing it. I'm kind of not going to get myself flying a drone until I have a little more skills doing this. That's why I'm in the simulator. I'm trying to do it as much as possible, but I'm literally scheduling myself to do it every other day. And if I can do it more often, I will, but every other day has been kind of like just my current, time limit to do this. So I typically come on and I live stream every single practice so that I can see my progress. And I think the live streaming gives me kind of like a double incentive to do it, because if I set it up and set myself on a timer, I feel like I feel committed, which is good because it's pretty fun to do, and it's like I'm literally playing a video game right now, but it is for working on my own skills. So the more I do it, the better I get, and then the less chance I have of destroying immediately a real drone, which I will destroy, I'm sure, eventually, but if I can avoid doing it on the first day, that would be nice. And let's look around. What else is here? I feel like this abandoned factory has been explored quite a bit. Let's see. Which other ways can we go here? I'm going to fly around the back of this place and see what we have. We got the little scaffolding here. That's fun. And the camera positioning in this is a little slack compared to like when you start the game. It's I should say simulator. When you start the simulator, it is at 30 degrees, which is a little bit further tilted back, which kind of makes you want to go faster, which is probably good once I get better. But at 20 degrees tilt, I can go a little bit slower, have a little bit more control over what I'm doing, which is nice. And then I'll obviously crash right away. I mean, we use sims to make PCBs. Why not drone too? No, it's true. And a lot of drone racers use this exact program to practice. So apparently it's very realistic as far as the flight characteristics, which is nice. So I feel like if these guys are racing and this is what they're practicing in, I feel like that it's probably good for me as well. Oh, no, too many tricks. And I'm probably going to go back to the other one. There's the Apocalypse board, just has so much stuff to fly around. So I've been going there a lot, spending a lot of time because there's just a lot of weird little obstacles to kind of fly through. And I feel like the more of that kind of like threading the needle stuff that I do, the more confidence I get as far as, my flight skills, I feel like if I can make it through a little place like that, or like this, see a crash. If I can make it through these little spots, then I feel a little more confident in my abilities. And I'm getting better at it. Again, if you were here last week, I couldn't do this stuff at all. I was crashing way more. And again, I was just also zipping through really, really fast. And I spent a bunch of time in the first, not a bunch of time, but probably the first 4 hours I was doing the drone practice. I was using the DRL simulator, which this one apparently is better, and it does feel a little bit different to fly, but not much. And the DRL simulator has, it might have it on this too, but it kind of has a nerfed version that helps you learn FPV, which I think is kind of a waste of time because it limits, like if I'm going, let me do a demo here. If I'm flying and I push the right stick to the side, it will just roll over. But with the limiters on, it acts more like a DJI drone where it'll like lean to the side and then fly to the side. Like if I'm, see if I can do this. If I want to just fly left or right, kind of just drift left and right without turning the drone. Cinema style drone, you just push like this and it'll fly to those sides. But with an FPV drone, the whole drone just like tilts. It'll turn, and same if it'll go forward or backwards. You're kind of in full control over what the drone is doing. So practicing with those limiters on ended up being detrimental. So if you're going to do this, turn the stupid limiters off and just get a feel for what it's like without them, because it's wildly different. You'll catch yourself just crashing into everything, which I still do, but oh my god, I didn't get crashed out. Indeed, it's getting better. I can see you improve it. Thank you very much. And I'm just getting back in this evening. I've been on for a few minutes, so hopefully I kind of have a sweet spot. When I've been on for maybe like 20 minutes, I feel like I do pretty well for like 15 minutes, and then I start to decline again. It's just kind of like I'm warming back up, getting my bearings, and then I will get a little bit better. But as soon as I talk about it, oops, let me go back to that. As soon as I talk about it out loud, I start crashing. Let's change tracks here. See what else is fun. We have Industrial Wasteland. And you see Birmingham. I don't remember what that is. Factory 2 Night. There was a Subway one that was pretty cool. I don't remember Factory 2 Night. Let's look at this again. This is probably. Is this it? Oh my God! Look how dark that is. Oh. I hate that it minimizes. It just automatically like minimizes the thing. I don't know why. Oh, this is hard to see. Yeah, I think I came here before and I couldn't tell what I was doing. There is, oh wow, look at this. Set my drone on fire. Oh, there is a setting in here where we can adjust the gamma on the screen to kind of like make it a little bit brighter, but I don't know if that's good to do or not. It is very dark. Speaking of very dark, I actually went on Disney Plus. I was going to watch Skeleton Crew again and try to get some high-res screen captures of my scenes in the show. And it looks so dark on the computer versus on the TV. Like on my TV, I can see everything beautifully. And then on the computer, it's just like so dark. And I just don't understand what that is. And apparently it's a normal thing, a common thing. I looked online to see if there's like some adjustment, because if I watch anything else on here, it looks totally normal like it does on TV, but for some reason the Disney Plus stuff is super dark. I wonder if like when they export the shows for different broadcasts, if they are using like a different compression or a different gamma setting on the screen. Can I ask a question about your channel? Yeah, absolutely. Ask away. I hate this board. Let me get out of here. Let's see. Change. Nope. I'm going to keep the quad size. See, I have the camera angle at 20 degrees. Let's go back here. Night Factory. Tech Facility. I know I looked at all these the other day, but I cannot remember what this one looks like. Let's see again. I'm sure as soon as I see it. Yeah, look at this. There we go. Look at that. Oh yeah, this kind of looked like the hangar. It says Tech Facility, but I thought this was the hangar. It's pretty big. They just see, like, it's cool. It's got like the little racetrack going around here, but it just doesn't look as interesting as some of the other boards that are outdoors. Like the Apocalypse board has so much cool stuff. There's so many weird shaped things and little obstacles and little passageways and parking garages and buildings with broken windows and buses that are all burned out and crashed helicopters, all kinds of stuff. Let's go to that one. That one's fun. You have 54 subs, but only 5 viewers. I'm confused. So the I got a lot of subs based on my shorts. So there's a lot of people that come to see the shorts and not my long form content. I've been on YouTube for a long time, and then once they added the shorts, I started getting a lot more followers. And look at that. I started getting a lot more subscribers based on that. But if you look at my long form stuff, it's none of that's like any kind of virality in any of those things. So it's pretty niche. But I guess I just picked them up from the shorts. But a couple of them have like millions of views, which is crazy because not another video on my whole channel has that many views. But yeah, so it's just weird. It's like the numbers are strange because of the shorts, and you'll see channels like that where if they just post, or is it YouTube, is it Reels or Shorts? I don't know. It's Shorts. If they just post shorts and they get a lot of views, but they have long form content, like if you look, my views are not crazy on any of my long form content. I don't have tons of views, but my shorts have a lot of views, and I think people will hit subscribe. So I just end up with a lot of subscribers because of that. And it's actually gone up. Like I've got like 7,000 more this month, but I don't know where they all are coming from. I'm assuming it's because of the shorts. Yeah, it's weird. I've been on YouTube for a very, very long time. I think I joined in 2000. I was on YouTube before Google took over YouTube, and when they changed it, they tried to at one point they were gonna my channel name is Gordon Tarpley, all one word. They were trying to change it to my regular Google name, which is just Gordon space Tarpley, and all of my social media stuff I was like Gordon Tarpley. I had to do this whole thing. So it's actually they pre-set up a default YouTube channel for my other stuff. So I technically have 2, but I don't think I've ever posted anything on the other one, but it's there. And then when they started doing live streams, like 2016 or something, it was kind of difficult to do live streams because I had the second channel name, which was technically my first channel name. It was weird. All right, let's go to Apocalypse. But yeah, so here we go. But yeah, as far as the followers and stuff go in the streaming, it's interesting, that whole thing with the amount of followers and the amount of viewers are not aligned. Another thing too is usually when I come on here, if I do my stream, if I post it earlier in the day, if I know that I'm going to be home at 8 o'clock, whatever, and I'm going to come online and I post it, there'll be more people watching than if I just post it and then 10 minutes later come online. So there's that as well. Can I make it through there? Oh, dang it. Almost. Oh, yeah. I have no problem talking about it. It's weird. I mean, if you see the other social media pages, I have TikTok has a lot of followers, but all the content is the same kind of stuff. It's all short form, stupid, the dumbest things ever. And as soon as I added some of those dumb things to my YouTube, I started getting more followers, which is crazy. But again, I never came on here assuming I was going to get a big audience or anything. I just started posting on YouTube primarily because I was on forums where we would share information, and sometimes it was easier just to make a video about what I was talking about versus I made it through. Sometimes it's easier to make a video about what I was talking about versus try to type it all out. It was just so much easier just to show it. And so that's how the YouTube started. And there was the forums I'd posted on. Initially I wouldn't even I would barely title the things. I would not put any description. I would just record the video, host it on YouTube, and just paste the link into the forum thing. Here's what I'm talking about, and then 10 people would look at it, and that was fine. And then some of the videos started to just not a lot, but was not consistent. But some videos would just do better. I think people outside of the forums I was on would actually pay attention to it. And so I had some random ones that have a decent amount of views, but it's few and far between. It just depends on what I'm talking about. And for a long time I wasn't very consistent about posting, and I'm trying to get better about that. And I think even then, if you just have like weird, real niche content, like the stuff that I make that's not exciting, you will still end up with an audience if you post regularly. So I'm trying to do that more. I'm trying to document a bunch of my projects and just keep that stuff going. And then when I can't post every day, I'm just start live streaming as much as possible, because I've got tons of ZBrush work and I'm trying to learn to do this FPV drone stuff. So I figure I might as well stream it. Your followers are just here for your weird T-shorts. This is accurate. That is very accurate. They love the weird T-shorts. I mean, that's the thing with, I would joke about that because like my TikTok page got really big, really fast, and it was so dumb. The stuff I was posting was so dumb. And then there's like things that I've done that I'm proud of that I want to talk about on YouTube, and like nobody watches it. But if I put on some silly teeth and go, oh, then 65 million views. It's silly. But yeah, anyway, it's the nature of things, I guess. I think when something's really short and it's entertaining in some way and it's easy to share, it'll do better than stuff that's long and very specific, like, hey, here's how I do some metal paint on certain types of props, and here's my process, and it's very boring. And nobody's going to share that except with like a handful of people that would care, which I totally understand, because I wouldn't share that with anybody except like the people that I know are looking to paint things metal. But I think if we start doing more like, I don't know, more kind of like my story time videos, or just videos about how certain opportunities happen, I feel like more people seem interested in that. But it's definitely not going to steer my channel. I'll still make videos about whatever I want or whatever's interesting at the time, or if I learn a thing or I unbox something new, I have just a lot of interest, so it's hard for me to just say this is what my channel's about, making props or whatever, because I like to do too many other things. And I could have like 5 different channels, but if people want to see stuff I'm up to, this is the stuff I'm up to. It's all over the place. Got to check the shorts out. Oh yeah, they're ridiculous. And what's crazy is some of the shorts that were very, very successful on some of the other platforms have done well here, and YouTube flagged them because they thought that I was reusing other people's content, which I wasn't. And I've had to appeal stuff on my channel to get my monetization back. So that actually kind of kept me from posting. I've got a couple longer videos that are also about totally different stuff, where I've done like, my first ultra marathon, my first 100-mile ultra marathon I did in April last year, and I made a video right afterwards. And then right as I was working on it, my channel got demonetized, and I was actually, putting time into the edit and, getting all these clips together and doing way more work than I typically do. And I was like, well, I don't want to post this video now. And then I had all these other videos around that, like, here's all the stuff I took on my 100-mile ultra marathon, and here's the shoes I wore. And just different things that had to do with that. Again, probably not interesting to a lot of people, but if someone's into doing, long distance running and they want to know about people's experience, which stuff that I found very useful when I started doing it, watching other people talk about their stories and where they had problems and where they didn't, that was very useful to me. And now, same thing. It's like I'm learning the drone stuff, and I'm watching everybody talk about, here's the problems I missed on my Part 107 exam, and here's drone information, and all the stuff is useful. So I just try to contribute whenever I can. I think I started following you after you made the C-3PO for Adam Savage's Wookiee costume. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that was a freaking cool project. Adam Savage is a very, very neat guy. I mean, I really like him a lot. That's right. You were a droid builder. We talked to Tad about that last week. Yep, I build some droids. It's fun. Actually, the thumbnail that I have for this video is one of the droids I built for a Disney show. It was supposed to come out on Disney Plus, and it got moved to Star Wars Kids. It's called Jedi Temple Challenge. Yeah, we're in the same droid builder circles for sure. Yeah, absolutely. I'm in just about, I don't know, probably most of the droid builder groups on Facebook. And I started one of the C3PO builder groups, but some asshole stole it from me. And then somebody else started another group because he kind of like destroyed the original group, started posting stuff for sale there, kind of like messed up the community aspect that I was trying to encourage when I did it. So now there's another C3PO builder group that was put together by somebody different, but it's much better now than the original one. But yeah, I build droids, I make props for all kinds of things, all kinds of stuff. Do stuff for film and television industry, and I try to share anything I'm allowed to share. Just, if I'm talking about building things or stuff like that, I try to at least discuss it. Sometimes I can't share too many photos or anything, but I try to discuss what I can, what I'm allowed to. Let's see. We're the same. For sale? No. Wait. For sale? What did I miss? For sale? Which one's for sale? Did I miss something? Did I just say something crazy and while I'm trying to fly a drone, not paying enough attention? Can I fly underneath that teacup? Nope, I don't think so. Oh, damn it. Oh my god. Oh, try to make it through the church. But yeah, I love building droids. I'm actually currently I'm building another RX-24 droid, like a Rex droid, kind of like the one they use in Star Tours, but it's literally going to be exactly like the one from Skeleton Crew. That's the bus driver droid, which is one that we helped build. I did all the digital work on that. I made a bunch of the pieces and helped do the assembly on those, which is cool, but I never had one for myself, so I was like, I'm going to make myself an RX droid. So there's one literally just behind my computer here that is probably like 85% printed, and I still have to do a bunch of finishing work and assembly stuff on it. And it could be made RC, so I think I'm going to do at least the head motion remote control. I may eventually set up the upper arm to do some RC stuff as well, but definitely the head will be radio controlled when I'm done. But I'm going to get it built, painted and stuff, and get that part underway. Literally right now, I've been working on it every day. The Rex, you doing Dave's plans for it? No, I'm doing my plans for it, which Dave helped with because we did the one for the show. So I modeled the whole thing minus the some of the guts that Dave Ferreira did, like he did the upper arm and the mechanisms for the head, which were basically like he used my models and made all the servo mounts and everything and plugged them in. So almost the full droid is off of my models, and then minus the upper arm and like an updated head, which everything visible on the head I did, and he just added like the mounting hardware on the inside so he could do his servos and stuff. So but yeah, so that's the one I'm working on right now. So I guess technically some of Dave's parts, but the rest are my parts. And as I do this, I'm actually redoing a bunch of the files as I go. I'm printing the original files, but I am making an easier to print version of the droid where it's like if someone's just doing a display one that doesn't have, dozens and dozens of pieces on the inside that need to be printed all individually. It can just be, there's pieces that I could just set up to where they print as one chunk, and it's just way easier to assemble. Because right now, the droid's held together with, it's set up so that it can be taken apart easily for painting and stuff, which if you're just going to make it for a display thing, you're not going to really need that. It was more for like the production side of things. And I'm trying to make it so that it's a little easier. And because of the time frame we were on working on it, we were kind of designing stuff as we were printing things. So we would design a bunch, and then as you're printing, you kind of realize, like, oh, this kind of needs to be different, or there needs to be a bracket here or something. So you're kind of hodging it together as you go. So there's kind of like stuff that, in retrospect, I would do differently if I knew all the stuff ahead of time. So I'm trying to make those changes now. I watched him manufacture that thing in his garage for years. So the Builder Blues Zooms, it was amazing. Yeah, oh, the one that he's got now that he drives around is so cool, man. I love it. And he's very good at puppeteering it. It's just watching him do that is really cool. I'm hoping he brings it to Japan. And his designs, he's really, really great at coming up with like the animatronic setups in those things. And he's got a very good knowledge of kind of electronics and what's out as far as motors and speed controllers and all the stuff that's current, which is a thing that I have a pretty good understanding of how to build this stuff, but I just don't have like the most current knowledge of what's available. So that's something I'm trying to get better at too, because when I do my Rex, I'm going to be again, I want to make it animatronic, but I'm going to simplify some of the designs, and it'll move exactly the same. It'll do all the same stuff, but it's just going to be a lot easier to deal with than our initial setup. Oh. And actually, the controller I'm using for it came out of the Storm Drone 6, which was my first drone. And I've just had the controller sitting around. I got a controller and receivers and all the stuff. So I'm like, I can put this to work and not have to buy a bunch of, transmitters and whatnot for this thing. I've got a bunch of servos too from another project I just did. So I think instead of using bigger motors to turn the body panels, I'm going to simplify that design. I'm just going to use just servo driven. And I think that it moves smooth enough that it doesn't need such huge motors to turn everything. I think I can get by with some good servos. I did a project in October that used continuous rotation servos, and I was impressed with how much they could turn and how effectively, and I was like, I think these could work for what I need. Again, I'm not making it for TV production. I just want it to move around. Just want it to be able to move around and look cool. And I love his drive system. Like when Dave did the full thing where it literally can drive around, that's fantastic. So I may eventually do a version like that. I don't know if I'll use Dave's designs or if I'll just design my own. I might take some inspiration from what he did and just take a stab at doing my own version of it. Crashed. Which should be pretty cool. Like, here we go. And I gotta do some 3D modeling tonight. I got like a bunch of projects I'm trying to get going on my Patreon page, and there's probably 4 or 5 of them that are reasonably far along. And I really need to just focus on 1 or 2 of them and get them finished up, so I have some files to share if people join my page. They won't be sitting there waiting for me to make stuff. They can hop on and have access to something right away. But I think initially the first couple things are probably going to be my the EV99 that I'm working on. Didn't make it. EV99 is pretty far along. I have to do the arms and the feet, and then the pelvis needs tweaking, and I'm kind of like cleaning up some of the other stuff, but it's technically the head and shoulders and torso are technically done. Like you could print them as is. I'm just trying to make them a little cleaner and simplified so that they just come out better right off the printer. The first time I did them, they were I really only needed to make one, and I was doing them for the Disney parks. So, and I was working fast. It was one of those things where if there was like a little booger here or there, that I was like, well, I'll just sand that down or adjust it when I print the piece. That was, sorry, I just had a little run there that was kind of fun. That was kind of the deal. So I didn't care so much. I didn't think other people were going to make one. But now that they are, I'm trying to make it more friendly. I'll be back to the droids in a year or two from now. I got 2 kids and just too hard to manage like I could before. Last build was a scrubber for my daughter. Oh, that's cool. How old are your kids? I mean, you made a scrubber droid for one of them. I feel like the kids are a good excuse to do more droids. Say, all right, kids, you're getting some remote control droids. Oh my God, I can't believe I'm doing this. If you saw me like a week ago, I could not do any of this stuff. Oh, dang it. Thought I was going to make it. Yeah, that's the thing, is doing my own projects in general have been very hard to do. And if you see my YouTube, you'll see like a gap. Like a few years ago, I kind of really slowed down just because I was working a lot. I was doing a lot of stuff, but I could not share any of it. I mean, so much of it was under NDA. And then I would film stuff and realize there's stuff in the background of my videos that was under NDA. And I was like, all right, well, I don't know. I just kind of like, everything's on hold. I took a lot of video during the time, but I just either didn't have time to edit it, couldn't show some of the stuff. And some of it, I don't know when I'll be able to show it. Like I got things that I worked on that I thought were pretty neat, but it's kind of like going through all the footage now and digging it up and going through stuff from 3 years ago, and then trying to pick apart what I can actually talk about is interesting. And you never know, because sometimes the stuff finished and you'll see like everybody that worked on it's posting all kinds of things. And then some stuff is really, really like tight-lipped as far as what you're allowed to show, and even after the thing's done. So that's a bummer, because I feel like that's one of those clauses. My friend has a shop, and he has as a clause in his contracts that he's allowed to share stuff on social media after the project comes out. So he's not giving away spoilers or anything, but once it comes out, he can share his work, behind the scenes stuff. And if they don't want that, then he upcharges them like a lot, kind of like 20% or something more to do something if he's not allowed to share it. And typically they just let him do it at that point. And he's under contract where he's allowed to show his behind the scenes, which I think is really smart. But yeah, it's sometimes that aspect of just being able to show what you've done is how you get more work in the future, because there's like, people want to know what you can do, and if you can't send them a video or pictures of how a thing goes together, then it's kind of a bummer. You lose out on something that's makes the project more valuable. 9 and 4 each got their own after school schedules. Oh my God. Oh, so did they get out of school? This, like, what, the 4 he or she, and also do they have are they in school yet, or is it like one kid's still at home? The 4-year-old seems like on that cusp of maybe preschool or maybe still being at home before kindergarten. Hey, cat. All right, bring it in lower to the ground here. And the cool thing about talking while I do this is it kind of lets my brain relax and just do the moves, because when I think about this too much, I start crashing a lot. And as soon as I'm kind of just thinking about other things, it goes pretty smooth. I feel like I've been having like better flows when I'm not thinking about it. Different one. Okay, crash, dude. Let's see. Is this it? It kind of looks like it. Yeah. So it would come around here, do the turn, back through this gate, and then around through these gates, and then up through this gate here. And up through this one and up, way up there to that gate, if I did this correctly. And then down through that one. This dive thing is what I messed this up. See how I like overshoot it? I gotta figure that out. I was gonna say fly better while talking. Yeah, so much. It's like as soon as I am not thinking about it, as soon as I even think that I'm doing, oh wow, I'm doing pretty good, I will start crashing. So it's like as soon as I'm thinking about the flying part, I'm like, oh my god, I'm doing it. But if I'm just checked out, I feel like I can just fly around. So I got to get that really natural kind of feeling when just all the time. And then I think I'll be better off. Oh, I didn't. Oh, I crashed out. I almost did a crash. One is preschool, other is elementary. One does sports after school. The other turns our house into sports sports after preschool. That's funny, man. Yeah, it is definitely a handful to deal with for sure, and especially if they're on different schedules. You got to go pick one kid up and then go get the other kid right after. Is the preschool part of the same school, or are they two different locations? Ah, dang it. Oh my god, I'm still flying. Oh my god, that was cool. Typically it makes me crash. Oh, cool. Alright, let's go. Can I make it through here? Oh, kinda. I made it, but I clapped into the wall. Let's see here. I feel like as long as you're not going super fast, it doesn't crash you out, which is kind of cool. Oh my god, this is kind of neat. Let's go back to the lighthouse over here. Different spots, oh my god. Oh my god, can I go in the lighthouse and fly in a circle? This kind of like orbiting a thing and keeping the camera fixed on it is way different with an FPV drone than with like a cinema drone. Like to do this move here is almost exactly, one of the sticks goes almost exact opposite of where it would go if I was doing a cinema drone style. Oh. Oh my god, I'm still flying. I can't believe I just hit that truck. Let's see here. So as I build these other droids for the Patreon, I am going to be making my own version. I'm also working on a few other projects where they're ones that other people have done, so they're kind of not quite as high priority, but I feel like the other ones that people have done have issues. They look like... I'll just say it. I haven't really talked about it, but I'm doing a RoboCop suit, and there's some decent models online, but they're not quite right. I was talking about this last night, and there's a lot of stuff that I'm basically going to just do over from scratch. I have a ton of reference photos from one of the real suits, and I'm just going to... And I got reference photos and measurements from one of the real suits, like a lot. So, and I had my hands on the suit for a few weeks. I got to work on the thing. So I got really close to look at how things go together and, how things look under the suit, inside the actual suit where it's taken apart, how stuff, fits together, and just stuff that you can't really see in photos of the suit on the actor, on Peter Weller. And I want to try to incorporate those things as much as possible. So it's one I want to work on too, but it's not my highest priority because it's kind of a lot of work, and I want to make sure that I've got some things for people before I get to that one. So as I get a little further along, I'll probably start live streaming some of that as well. But it comes down to this thing where some of the reference photos I've got of different props, I probably can't show, technically speaking. Can't put them online, so I gotta figure out a way to look at my images without, work on my stuff, I would say, without having the reference images up on the screen. And same with like the EV99, I have like some of the key things I need to work on I can't do on the live stream. RoboCop, oh yeah, dude, it's like RoboCop is I love that costume, and I really want to do a good version of it. Like I said, there's some pretty good models. Like there's some models out there that if someone printed it and made it into a costume and wore it, 99.997% of people wouldn't know that it's not screen accurate, because it looks good. They look good, but they're not quite right. And some of the details are like too chunky. It looks like maybe they started out by scanning one of the Hot Toys or is it Hot Toys? One of the toy companies did a really good like 1/6 size RoboCop. Really articulated. It's very, very well done. Painted really nice. And it kind of looks like maybe they got a scan of one of those and then cleaned it all up, versus like modeling it off of reference photos from the screen used, because it's really good, but some of the details just like a little overly chunky. Like some of the little reveals, like the little the slots and stuff between the armor, they just don't look like they looked at a real picture of it to do them. And they're missing some key ones. Like there's like pieces that are very obvious on the real suit that they just don't have in their model, which is just surprising. If they looked at a photo, I think they would have modeled that. So I think they were using a toy as a reference, or a scan of the toy just as a starting point. I don't know for sure. I can't say that 100%, but it's what it looks like to me. Don't break those NDAs. I know, and I try to keep them as tight as possible. I don't want to spoil anything. There's plenty of them that I won't even discuss, and there's stuff that after the fact probably can talk about it, but I just don't know. I got to read the stuff more carefully, and there's like elements where I'm like, should I say that? I don't know. This level's pretty dang fun, man. There's just so much stuff to look at in here. Can I get through that window? Oh, come on. Nope, I hit the glass. Dang it. Oh, crashed. I always wanted to make a Johnny 5 from Short Circuit, but after I've seen how massive he really is from another builder, I'm not sure anymore. That's always been one of my favorites as well. I actually just like 2 nights ago came across some really good files. On Facebook, there's a Johnny 5 builder group, and they've done a very good job of putting the files together. And I came across some files online recently, and I'm pretty sure they're ones that came from the Johnny 5 builder group. But I always really, really liked Johnny 5. And when I was a kid and Short Circuit was out, it was like a big deal that they built these robots, because they're really well designed. The movie ones, really, really well designed. Machine pieces. They're beautifully done. And very articulated. It's such a cool, very, very cool puppet. Animatronic puppet, but very, very well done. Looks awesome. And yes, it's huge. I don't know how to transport it or where the hell I would put it, but yeah, Johnny 5 is fantastic. I think one of the other ones I'm doing is Tweaky from Buck Rogers. Same kind of thing. There's some pretty decent files online that look, at a glance, really good. Like if you printed it, it would be fine, and nobody would really know. But I just see stuff wrong with it that I want to just do my own version. So, I'm not doing anything groundbreaking. And Dave Moog, who's an awesome modeler, has done a couple things. He just did Gort from The Day the Earth Stood Still. That's another one that is in my list. That one's low priority because the real thing is huge. It's pretty simple design, but another one where I've seen the real props, 2 of the real Gort helmets up close. They're huge and awesome. I got some good photos of the actual screen used one. So Dave did a great job on his. I don't know if it's worth redoing now that he's done it, but I figured that would be like a relatively easy model to make. But again, don't want to necessarily compete with his stuff because he's awesome. And another one that he did that I've always loved, and I have his files for it, but I'm not going to be doing this one, but it's the one that I love is the 8D8, the torture droid from Jabba's Palace. Love that droid, and his files are very good. I'm actually probably going to print that one for myself soon. I started to print it a while back, and then I can't remember. I feel like I might have started that before I had my big printer. I can't remember for sure. And now I think it'd be easier to print. I've kind of figured some other things out. But his files for that are great. They're so great, as a matter of fact, that when I was on Skeleton Crew, there was an 8D8 on set, and it was modeled by, oh my God, who modeled that thing? It was one of the guys at Legacy Effects. And at the time, they were working on it, and it hadn't come out yet, and Dave Moog did his, and they saw it online, and they thought that maybe the files got leaked from Legacy because it was so close to the screen use ones that they were doing for like Mandalorian. Rick Allenson modeled that one. And there's a scene in Skeleton Crew where there's that droid is doing tattoos on a guy, and when they're setting up that scene, I was sitting right behind the droid, so I got a really good look at his version, and it does definitely look so much like Dave Moog's. And the scale and everything is like pretty much spot on between the two. Alright, let's see. I'm trying to get through this bus. Oh, freaking crashed into the middle. So that bus, I've tried to go through that thing so many times over the last couple of weeks, and I have not been able to get it. Oh my God, did it crash? Can I get through this way? I mean, there's like these little poles inside the bus like you'd hang on to if you're standing up, and I always hit them. Can I make it? Nope, I'm not going to make that one. Oh, dang it. Alright, here we go. Heading out. You go check out the church. I'm kind of like learning my way around this neighborhood pretty good. I kind of know where stuff is. I've never made it through that church yet. I'm going to try to do it this time. So I'm going to fly down the street. I'm going to take it like a car here. Go around the corner by the bus. Around the corner by this guy. Through the church. Oh, so close. That's so awesome on these kids are going crazy. I'm out of here for now. Man, thanks for stopping by. It was good chatting. Again, chatting here makes my flying better, I think. That's what I need to do is even when I start flying the real one, I just need to like live stream it or something. Have people nearby so I can chatter. I don't think I can fly. Am I catching something, or can I physically not get past that glowy thing? That glowy thing might be blocking my exit from this church. I'm trying it again. Oh, if I can get through. Yeah, I think I can. Oh, there we go. Okay. I went under it. I think it's one of those little gates right in front of the door. Oh my God. I'll fly down low. Can I get through the trees here? Nope. Crashed. Man, how are we doing? Battery. Probably start beeping at me soon, and then I'll call it out and go get some work done on my room. I'm excited to show you guys the backdrop. It'll be hopefully behind me soon. I keep saying it's gonna be like a day, and then I don't get enough done at night because I'm using some of the adhesives and stuff I'm using to take a little while to dry, so I'm like gluing sections and then gotta just leave it for a bit, come back. But I think I've got the major pieces are kind of in place, so now I'm kind of just doing the cleanup on the actual walls and stuff, making like a big kind of like Star Wars style blast door that's gonna go behind my robot costumes, all my Star Wars droids. Oh my gosh, look at that! There's a little unicorn on top of that thing. I don't remember that from before. All right, let's go down this way. Fly between these buildings. Yeah, confidence level is definitely getting much better here. Getting these turns in. Whoa. Whoa. Oh my god. And do a little roll. Oh, dang it. I was doing so good. All right, here we go. Oh, I'm hitting flags. All right, pretty fun. Yeah, I posted on my Instagram doing a live stream. I don't know if anybody is here, because if they are not talking to me, which is okay. I'll just talk to myself like I do when nobody's around. Borderline homeless behavior, but it's okay. Going through the gates. And I don't know what it is. Like I said, like not tons of people on the live stream, but I feel like since I started doing live streams, I feel like YouTube is pushing my content more, because I've got like a lot more subscribers in the last month than I've had in 1 month pretty much ever. And it all kind of started when I started doing live streams, even though again nobody's really looking at my live streams much. It's like I think YouTube is trying to help promote me or something because I'm doing them, which is cool, I guess. Da-da-da. I'm here. You aren't that crazy. No, thank you. I definitely talk to myself a lot. So if I'm walking around my house, I'm usually trying to sort out my brain and try to figure out, the task at hand and, whatever kind of stuff I have to do. I usually talk through it out loud as though I'm doing a video anyway. So it's pretty good. And I'm trying to keep it up and not be like a total monotone weirdo when I do this, but there's like half my brain is concentrating on the flying aspect. Like I said, I feel like in a good way chatting is making my flying better, but as soon as I talk about it I crash. All right, let's see, where do I want to go? I haven't looked in this green thing yet. Can I get in there? Nope, crashed immediately. And crashed immediately. Let's see. So there's a green tint over here. It's got 2 doors. Can I get through it? So that's the thing with this level that's so cool, is there's so much stuff that just has little openings and little rooms you can fly through. Little passways and overhangs and power lines and structures with broken windows. It's really fun. And a lot of the other boards are real good, but they just don't have as much to offer, I think. Ow, damn it. And I feel like every time I fly around here, I find little new nooks and crannies. And since I started doing this, I look at everything now. Do I have any opinions on airbrushes? Well, yes. So, as far as airbrushes, it depends on what you want to do for your paint. Now, I have I don't know, probably like 7 or 8 airbrushes, and the one that I use the most now it's like an Iwata. It's like one of their kind of standard. Oh my gosh, which model is it? It's a pretty standard one, and they make. It'll come to me in a second, but they make like 3 or 4 different airbrushes that are slightly larger size. And the one I have now is kind of like it's kind of like the go-to middle ground, like dual action airbrush. I use it for a lot of stuff, but if you're painting with like metallic paints, like those All Cloud or either, I would say get a really cheap, like $8 single action airbrush off of Amazon. They work awesome. And if you're painting like solid color stuff, you can set the spray pattern exactly how you want and the amount, and then when you push the button, it's always the same amount's going to come out. It's like using like a spray paint can or something, and it's but like a more detailed. And they're super cheap. I probably have 3 or 4 of those things, and they're cheap as all get out. You can buy the little bottles that hold your paint, so you can basically just have, if you're just doing broad, coverage paint, you can go through and you just like swap the bottles and then have paint. So if you're painting like, I don't know, you're doing like assembly line style stuff where you're painting, 5 or 6 of the same thing, you just have the colors pre-mixed and you just can plug the bottle in, paint that color, swap it, paint the next color, and then when you go to repeat your steps on the next mask, you have, all your paints are just already there, ready to go. You don't have to keep like cleaning your gun. Plus, those single action ones are very easy to clean, and there's no paint that's actually like in the airbrush. You have the tip of it can totally unscrew, and you can just dunk it in some acetone, and there's no seals to worry about or anything. It's really, really, really easy to clean, which is great, because if it ever does clog, you just take it apart and just clean it out. You don't have to. It doesn't have like so many moving pieces. It's easy. And then the air side of it, I haven't had one die on me ever, and I've been using them for probably 13 years now, 14 years maybe. I've never had the actual sprayer air side of it get messed up. I've never had to take one apart. And if the nozzle clogs, again, you just literally can just unscrew the whole thing and just drop it in some water or some acetone or alcohol or whatever kind of paint you're using. That you can drop it whatever you need to clean it out, and you don't really have to worry about much. Very easy. But if you're painting like little detail stuff, you're doing veins and whatnot on I don't know, masks or prosthetics or something, and you want detail, a little dual action is pretty good to have. And it's good. Let me see here. I have an Iwata Revolution as my main one. Yeah, those are super good. Are you taking LPs? Are you talking LP spray guns? No, those are like, I have some of those too, but no, just like cheap airbrushes. We're talking like the $8. You can plug it into your regular airbrush compressor. It's just like single action, and those are my favorite ones to use if I'm doing metal paints and I'm not using like an actual auto spray gun. Those are fantastic. I really, really like them. They're, again, so cheap. It's amazing that they do such a good job for being so cheap. But as far as like the low pressure spray guns, HVLP style stuff, everything I own is like Harbor Freight. It's always worked awesome. I think some of the professional guns have a bit better trigger feel, and they're a little bit easier to disassemble and reassemble, which is nice. Probably better quality O-rings and stuff, but honestly, the Harbor Freight ones I've had, I abuse them. I don't really clean them properly, and they just keep working and working and working, and I've never had one die on me. They've always still worked, which makes it very hard to justify a nicer spray gun. And I've used really nice spray guns at places like I've used other people's, and again, they feel a little better. If I was painting all the time, if that's my main job is like doing auto paint or something, I would probably invest in a little nicer one just for feel. But actual spray quality, very, very hard to tell the difference. I think some of the professional ones have maybe a little bit better fan to the spray, a little bit. But again, like, I've gotten some very, very good paint jobs from $14 Harbor Freight spray guns. And, if you get a beautiful, smooth, clear coat and it's out of a cheap paint gun, then it kind of makes me like, well, why am I going to pay like hundreds of dollars for one? If you need to. And I've heard other people that will take the Harbor Freight ones and then like polish the needles and stuff, which I've never done, but apparently it makes it even better. So I think the only thing I've ever done to mod them isn't really a mod. It just would sometimes take a rubber band and stick it around the trigger, like around the handle and the trigger, so that if I let go, the trigger isn't floppy and making like, just little rattly noises and stuff. Doesn't change anything. It just kind of keeps the trigger tight against the valve button on the behind the trigger. But yeah, I know a lot of people that use very good spray guns, and I mean, if I showed something I painted versus something they painted, you'd have a very, very hard time telling which one was painted with what gun. I tried doing a larger piece with my airbrush using all-clad, and the finish got screwed up pretty bad. My best guess is that the overspray was hardening in the air and building up on the further surfaces. It can do that. Now, one thing that's with the all-clad is that you can buff it down, so it dries really fast. So I always take like a piece of tissue paper, and if it is like a little hazy, and if it's hazy, it's typically because if it's dried slightly early, it gets almost like a dust kind of look to it, and it looks less shiny. But sometimes the haziness is because of the base coat. But if it ever is the surface, you can take a piece of tissue paper and just buff it down, and it'll polish right up. And usually, you just wipe that dusty, like kind of haze version pass off, and it'll be shiny again, which is one of the things I like about all-clad. It's very forgiving in that way. Another thing that I do with my all-clad is when I'm painting, I get like a piece of white styrofoam, and I will hold it to the side so I can check my reflections, because sometimes it's really hard to tell where you've been, and it'll look good, everything looks really good, but if you take a piece of white styrofoam or just white piece of paper or something, and you hold it at a very glancing angle, so you're kind of like looking at a reflection of your white backdrop at a glancing angle on your surface, you can tell if you got good coverage on your all-clad, and then you can go touch up those little areas, which very useful. So if you ever see me paint, you'll see me do that almost every time. And that'll help with that aspect of it, because that was the thing with painting with small airbrushes. I felt like it was easier to miss spots or not hit them enough. I started using the Harbor Freight, one of their little like touch-up paint guns, and I would take the needle, how you can control how much the needle is open. I would make it so it was just barely anything would come out. I mean, like barely, like almost nothing. And that would be kind of like my all-clad setting. And I would turn the pressure up a little higher than I would on the airbrush. Like with the airbrush, I would, like 12 psi or something. It seems to work pretty good. But with the spray gun, I would turn it up to like 20 or 25. And I think it kind of shoots it really fine, but it shoots it a little faster. And it keeps kind of the thing we were talking about, where it doesn't dry in the air quite as much, because it's kind of physically shooting it faster than it would if I had the pressure lower. And the lower pressure doesn't seem to move it as fast. So it would be okay, but it just wouldn't be quite as good as if I turned the pressure up some. And now I started using the Ultra Lumen. It's really, really, really good. And it sprays very similar to the all-clad, but man, the reflectivity is super good, and the coverage is really, really, really good. So it costs about twice as much per bottle, but the coverage is fantastic. So the coverage is better. I don't know, I got one of those 4-ounce bottles of the Ultra Lumen, and I would say the coverage is better than double of all-clad. And even the regular Duralumen, I think, looks great, but that has less coverage than all-clad. It's just kind of getting used to these different paints. But the Ultra Lumen, very, very, very good. Very good. And in my test with it, I kind of got a little bit of hazing on it, and then the guy that runs the Ultra Lumen, sells it, wrote me and gave me like some tips on how to fix it, and he made like a tutorial on how to fix kind of what I had done wrong. And I knew that I messed up. I think I said it in my video that I kind of oversprayed, but you can fix it, and that is awesome, because it's basically like spray it with some alcohol and rinse off the excess, and when it dries again, it's beautifully shiny, like really, really, really good. So I'm gonna try another test, hopefully this coming up week, and we'll see. It's been very cold out, so I've been kind of putting it off because the clear coat is okay, but just does so cold that I think it's gonna kind of make the dry times a little crappy. But we'll find out. I guess it was spray hardening the air. Yeah, the finish wasn't cloudy. It was like it was growing shards of paint. Yeah. That sounds kind of like I think your description is correct. It sounds like it was kind of kicking off before. That is kind of the kind of thing that I usually kind of try to buff off. And even the thing is, even when I don't see, like, it doesn't look so dramatic, it's still there a little bit. And so if I buff it, especially if I'm going to clear coat it, like do a tinted clear coat over the all clad, the buffing is really important, because if you like put a clear coat down and lock that weird hazy stuff in, and it'll always be there. And even when it doesn't look hazy, there's still a little bit of haze there that you're like, oh, it's really shiny now. I think it works great to buff it too is like an old t-shirt that just make sure it's really clean and doesn't have any oils and stuff on it. Like a cotton t-shirt seems to work really well for doing that, and it should lay that stuff down. And honestly, I will buff down pretty hard on the surface, and I've had not bad luck at all with this stuff. Like it doesn't seem like it removes very much, like buffing through to the base coat or anything. It doesn't seem like it does that. And it may be a tiny bit if you really, really go at it. But I mean, some of them, like, I don't know if you've ever seen any of my videos where I've done the all clad, but now when I do it, I'll put down a base coat color, and then I'll spray it with an auto clear coat, and then I'll do the all clad over the auto clear coat, so it's already shiny. But when I first started doing it, I didn't have a compressor and HVLP guns or anything, so I couldn't do the clear coat trick. So what I would do is I would paint the base coat color, which I have a preference for either white or gray. I think it looks really good versus black. I think black looks cool, but it's a little too, like, the chrome is a little too contrasty or something. It just doesn't quite look right for a lot of my projects. But the gray looks like polished aluminum or something. So anyway, I would take that base coat and then I'd polish it with like a, actual like body polish, that white creamy stuff. And I would polish it till it was really, really, really reflective, like as reflective as an auto clear coat. And the all clad on the polished spray paint base coat would adhere so well. And if you buffed it in and like really like buffed the surface, it would bond just phenomenally well with the spray painted base coat. And somewhere I have photos. When I redid my 3PO back in like 2015, I stripped it down to do the proper chrome, and I did my spray chrome, and I took the tint coat off of the face of my 3PO, but the all clad stayed on, even though I was doing all this crazy stuff to soak it and to get the top coat to delaminate and all this stuff. That silver all clad, the original silver all clad, was just like fused to that spray paint so well. And I somewhere got videos. I definitely have photos of it when I was in the process. It was kind of awesome. Look at this. Whoop. Well, I'm making my way around this town. Now that I'm saying it, I'm going to crash. But see what I'm saying? When we're talking, I was just flying all over the place, making it through all these little passageways and stuff. And I haven't crashed. Can I make it through these trees though? Oh my God, I did it. So crazy. Yeah, I said when I'm talking, it's like I'm a little more relaxed, and then I crashed. Oh, I'm sitting here. Look at that. Oh, I landed. I didn't crash out. Can I get off the ground though? Oh, nope. There we go. All right, let's see here. Oh. See, wait for my controller to start beeping at me. It usually starts pretty soon. How long have I been on here? Like more than an hour. Pretty good. It's 10 o'clock here. Probably gonna go drink. a massive cup of coffee, stay up till 3 in the morning, and paint my studio room. Oh, dang it. Oh my god. What kind of stuff are you painting with the all cloud? Was it droid related, or were you painting other like props, or what kind of stuff are you doing? Alright, I'm just falling. Can I get through the roof? Alright, we're gonna go fast here and see if I can make it around this. This is the kind of stuff that make the audience sick. I would love to get an Iwata Micron, but I don't think the airbrush enough to justify the purchase. I know. See, that's the kind of thing is like airbrushes are not cheap. And what I was gonna say earlier is like all the airbrushes I have my one Iwata that is I use all the time that I really like, and when I got that one for free. I actually had modeled a makeup at IMATS, and we modeled it at the Iwata booth, and they gave me that airbrush. Why can't I think of the name of the damn thing? It's like a really common one, and then they gave me a compressor and an airbrush for being the model that day, and I was really happy about that because I had like a pretty cheap airbrush compressor before that actually still works just fine, but it's just not as quality as the Iwata one. But the other airbrushes I had before, I had a few dual action airbrushes, and they're all really, really cheap ones that I got online, and they all work totally fine. They work well. But if anything broke, good luck getting replacement parts. I think that's the one thing with the Iwata stuff is that you can just buy new needles or new tips, or any part that breaks or you lose, you can buy another one. And those cheapo airbrushes, who knows? You probably never find the manufacturer. But they do work. It's just, in a professional situation where you might need to get some pieces for it or have some backup needles or something, it just isn't practical in that regard. It's probably similar with like the Harbor Freight stuff. Like if I was working full time as an auto painter, I'd probably invest in a SATA, however you say it, like one of those really nice spray guns. But it's just not quite worth it. Even though I paint a reasonable amount, I've just got like 7 or 8 Harbor Freight cheapo spray guns, and I just alternate them as I do stuff. Or half the time I'll like get a job somewhere and I'll just go pick up another one just in case. And then I just one day I'll sit around with some acetone and clean them all out. Iwata has Nero Revolution Eclipse. The Eclipse is the one that I've got, an Iwata Eclipse. That's it. Thank you. It's like the standard one, it's a dual action, has a little cup on top. Not fancy, but it's good. Does a really good job. And I've used it an absolute ton, and it's held up very, very well. And I also am too harsh with the cleaners. Like I use acetone a lot, which works great, but it'll eat your O-rings apparently, and I've never had an O-ring go bad on me in any of my airbrushes or my spray guns, but I've heard that acetone can definitely I kind of made it. Acetone can definitely wear them prematurely. And I don't know, maybe that's just like soaking it in acetone, which I don't typically do, but I will run acetone through there to clean them, and it works great, but maybe it's not the best. But now I've had that airbrush for probably like 6 or 7 years, and I've never had a problem with it. So 7 years worth, if I got to replace an O-ring after 7 years, that's okay. that's enough time. But you know, you get I don't think links work here. Oh, gotcha. You're pretty good post and stuff. The last all cloud I used was for the Mando shoulder armor. Oh yeah, that works great. So what's funny, man, the first time I saw one of the Mando suits in person, the screen used ones, they are not as shiny as I expected them to be. It looks like if you take all clad and then just put auto clear coat on it without any barrier or anything, that's exactly what the Mando armor looked like. I kind of discovered by accident that it got the same look. But I think that they're using Alumoluster on those costumes, which is very similar to all clad. The way it sprays, the way it looks, the whole thing is very, 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 very similar. And then they just are spraying like, urethane auto clear coat right on top of it, and it does the exact same thing the all clad does, where it like kills reflectivity a little bit. And in camera it looks great, but in person it's definitely like more dead than if you just sprayed all clad on the surface. Like if I was doing something silver, I would probably put all clad right on the surface and then just leave it like that, not try to cover it with anything. And my 3PO suit was like that initially. It was just all silver, all done with all clad, and it held up great. I mean, there was no protective covering on it, and anytime I wore the suit, people would handle it and rough it up, and it just held up great. It was easy to touch up if it needed it. So I'm a fan of just all clad on the surface, no protective barrier. Now you can't use alcohol on it, it'll just reactivate it and it'll ruin it. But you can use like Windex. You can clean all clad with Windex right on the surface. That works fine. Ammonia based stuff is good, but not alcohol. Alcohol is bad. All right, shoot this building here. Jeez, man. I mean, seriously, this is getting... Oh, I almost crashed, but I saved it. That was cool. I felt the finish should have been better for all the sanding I did. Did you do auto clear coat first and then the all clad, or did you do all clad like right on top of like a sanded surface? Like how did you do it? I feel like the best all clad finishes are usually, the surface is super, super reflective before you spray the all clad. It'll come out great. I've got a lot of examples of this stuff. Let me see if I got some here. Now I'm just curious to look at my stuff, if I got any good pictures. I know I have some on my phone. I did, I don't know if you ever saw the movie Malignant. Let me see something here. I'm going to switch. I'm going to turn this drone down for a second. I'm going to switch back to me for a minute. And I'm going to do a search here in the background. Let's see if I can find a picture of it online from the film. The movie Malignant. It's in there. It's on the poster. So here, I'll switch back over. You can look at my screen now that I'm here. I don't know what kind of stuff will be seen if I did that. Okay, so this movie Malignant, I painted these blades. I did these. This is all done with all clad and tinted clear coat. Same exact clear coat I use. The same clear coat tint I use for 3PO. I think I did that. I might have used yellow on this I can't remember. But anyway, I think they came out pretty good, and I did an absolute ton of these things for the film. Like I don't know, 20 or 30 of them. They had so many, and then they had versions that were. What is this? Oh, that's not good. Let's see if there's more pictures of it here. But this one. Here's one like in the film, but he like carves his his knuckles. Like it's got like a grip on this thing, and they made a version that was a resin cast version, but it had a piece of metal on the inside. So there's a scene where they're putting it on like a bench grinder, and he's carving the piece, and you see sparks. And so they did metal versions, which had a coat just the same. They were going to have them at some angle. Is this it here? So there's one of the ones. It's sort of a small, crappy picture, but I think it's cool that it's on some of the poster, like this artwork here, that some of the stuff for the posters and everything. Anyway, pretty neat. But yeah, this was all done with all-clad, all of these. Somewhere I have a photo where I've just got like a heap of them sitting on a table, and that was one batch. I'll see if I can find it. It was just one batch of the blades. It wasn't all of them. It was like the first batch or the second batch, I can't remember. And then I did another batch just like that. After the first one, I couldn't believe how many I was doing, and they're like, "Oh, we got some more to do," and it was so freaking many. And while I was doing these, I was working on Jedi Temple Challenge, which I have. My thumbnail for today's video was from Jedi Temple Challenge. I did these blades at the same time I was working on it. I was so freaking busy. I did black automotive spray paint and sanded it smooth and hit it with clear gloss. Then did all clad. Was your clear gloss, was it urethane, like a 2-part mix, like with a hardener, or was it as shiny as the as a urethane 2-part urethane gloss? Is just way shinier. It kind of has like a wet look to it that's really nice. Let's see here. If I can find, I want to find a picture of those blades. As I was painting them, I somewhere have photos of the process, but I don't know where they're at. I keep moving stuff around on my computer, and then I go look for it. I'm like, where did I put this? What did I do? Content, current desktop. I had done like a podcast with somebody, and I was like, oh, I better grab all my work so I can show it off in this thing. And then I moved a ton of photos into another folder, thinking this is a better spot. And now I have no idea. The other day I was like looking for a bunch of my reference pictures, and I have no idea where the heck I put them. And I've got it backed up on a hard drive, but I don't want to have to go digging through my hard drives to find the stuff. So let's see. Maybe on did I find them? I did not. I also took video of doing those blades. And if you want to tint Duplicolored Clear, it came out uneven and had to buff it before. Yeah, it'll like. That's the thing, is even if it's buffed and like looks shiny in person, it has to be exceptionally shiny to get like a really good shiny reflective surface, like really reflective. Let me see, where did I put these stupid things? Oh, is this it? Nope, of course not. I just saw these pictures the other day, and I have some other pictures, all cloud stuff too. But yeah, if you can buy 2-part catalyzed. You can have 2-part catalyzed clear coat in a rattle can, but it's like the thing where you have to pop the bottom to release the catalyst, and you shake it up, and then you've got maybe like, I don't know, 16 hours or something to use it before the can goes bad. And you could use that if you don't want to buy a big gallon. But I usually buy a gallon of auto clear coat every so often, like once every year and a half or something, and it lasts a long time. It's not cheap, but the amount of paint that you get for the price is really worth it, especially if you're painting a lot of stuff. Let me see. I have a lot of random folders in here. Content. Oh, there's some of my RoboCop reference pictures I was looking for the other day. I just found some of them randomly, which is awesome. But this folder's got a lot of random stuff I wasn't expecting. I also got blown up in this, got burned really bad in this. We're doing some video, and I blew myself up, and it was not cool. And I had burns and blisters all over myself. And then I just found the photos from that, which is awesome. And I found the RoboCop suit pictures. I actually have time lapse of me working on that RoboCop, but I think one of the video files is corrupted. So, let's see here. Sorry, I'm going to switch over. I know you guys can't see what I'm doing, but I got to make sure that I'm not showing stuff I can't show. Got some Chrome stuff. I did a restoration on a TikTok from Return to Oz, and let's see here if I can open this picture. I'll show you a picture of it here. Let me see. And it came out really cool. This is a screen used robot. It belongs to one of the guys from Prop Store. Let me see. And it looks like this. And I redid all the paint on it to match the screen used one, but underneath this paint it's all weathered and rusty and old looking. But I did a very, very, very shiny metallic gold base coat like the screen used ones had, and then did all the weathering on top. So in person, when you move around it, you can see the reflectivity of the base peeking through the final surface, which is pretty neat. And this is one of my favorite movie robots ever, and to have one again, this was at my house for probably a year and a half. I was supposed to have it for like 2 months, but then right after I got it in my possession, I got hurt and I had to have a bunch of surgeries on my knee. It took me forever to get back to doing stuff, so I had to work on it like a fraction of the pace I would have liked to. But anyway, let's go back and fly the drone. This thing's yelling at me, and then I'm probably going to do it for, I don't know, 5 more minutes or something, and then get out of here and go do productive stuff. Yeah, my controller's saying battery low. What is it saying? I turned the volume down on it, but it goes, the controller it'll buzz, and then it'll tell me that my battery, hold on a second, I can't hear what it's saying. And it says transmitter battery low with a little British accent. It's great. Whoa, surround that van. I didn't mean to do that. Almost crashed. Alright. It's pretty fun to go zipping around these buildings. Oh, and then crash right away. I remember when your canned smoke caught fire. Yeah, that's the one. So I don't know if that's the exact one. Let me see here. If I have the pictures here of this thing, you can see all my crazy burn marks on my arms. This is kind of when it was starting to, after the blisters started to go away. Is this it too? There's my shoulders. This is all blistered up and gross, and it was like it was like that on my neck. It was so cool. Here's my neck, all burned. I had it looked like tiger stripes because I was looking down when it blew up. So where all the lines were on my neck, it burned like little stripes on my neck. So fun. And then let's see, it's fun pictures. There's me and Mark Steger. This is Mark that played Demogorgon and Stranger Things, and I'm trying to see if I got what other random stuff I have here. Here's some stuff I chromed. This was done with see if it'll play. This was done with spray chrome for Thingergy, and they did all the base coat and stuff. So any imperfections were I only did the chrome spray. I didn't do any of the base coat stuff or any of that. But it was fun. There's a Queen alien from this is the one that they made for Alien versus Predator, I think, but it was molded from the ones from Aliens. Anyway, let's get back to flying around. My Insta post has progress photos on it. Otherwise, I would have forgotten all this detail. That's cool. I gotta go look at that and see. If I didn't see it already, there's I've seen quite a few like Mando posts. But if you have any questions doing like metal paint stuff, I've done an absolute ton of it for different things. So anything I could do to be helpful, man, let me know. What's kind of crazy is like recently I did a project in October, this big DJ deck thing that we took to, it was for a Fortnite event in Times Square. So if you look up like Snoop Dogg Fortnite, now I want to look at this really quick. Sorry, I'm gonna see if I can pull this up now that we're talking. I'm just chatting away here. Let me go see if I can find this really quick. I'll show you this thing I made because I did the paint on this. Fortnite Times Square. See if I can find this video of this event. Let's see if there's video of this thing. Here's this thing. This is it. A lot of people took video from the Fortnite game and posted it live. It's like a Fortnite live event. This is a crappy video of it. Let me see. And this DJ deck, I painted it. I've done it. I did it the same way I've painted tons of other stuff. And this time it worked. It looks fine, but it did not hold up like normal. And I think they changed one of my paint formulas that I usually use because I've got stuff here painted exact same way and it's held up way better. So again, this is like, let me see here. I'm gonna pause it. We're gonna go. Let me switch over. What's happening here? My transmitter's still screaming at me. Let's switch over. We'll go to Snoop Dogg thing. All right, so there's this deck. It's like the lighting's really weird, but over here in the corners, you can see it's like I did a metallic paint. And it's like kind of it's hard to see it in this light. It doesn't look as shiny as it did in person, but it was so fragile. And it's like I've done the exact same stuff. I have stuff kicking around this house for years, done the exact same way that's held up amazing. And I painted this thing twice because the first time it was so fragile, it was like delaminating, which really, really weird. And I peeled all the finish off and redid it because I was like, I must have done something wrong. I think because I was painting it too quickly, like I wasn't giving time for the base coat to properly cure before I sprayed the next coat. I'm pretty sure that's why. But so anyway, this is the thing we built. And I did all the paint on the outside, and then I built the mechanisms for the DJ deck tables inside. And I was real proud of it. This event was pretty crazy, but you see like here you can see like the side of the records. You kind of catches the reflections better. All this paint was done the same way, so you can kind of see on the records it looks pretty good. But yeah, it looked fine, just super, 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 super fragile. And it was, here's Snoop Dogg. They wanted him to slam this thing down. And he actually kind of messed up his cue here, and he picks it back up. He picks it back up, shows it again, and he slams it down. And the mechanism I built was so fragile, and we built it not knowing that they wanted him to like slam this thing down on the record deck. And I was like, can we not do the slamming part, please? But we worked it out. It was fine. I have a Mando blaster I started a while back and stopped because I don't have a good place to sand. If I ever get back to it, I'll probably hit you up for more questions. Yeah, please do, man. That'd be awesome. And as far as sanding, like a lot of what I will do is I try to wet sand everything if I can, just because it's kind of the same deal. Like I hate the dust getting everywhere, and I feel like wet sanding just kind of minimizes that, so I can kind of sand in an area that's probably not the best for sanding, and I just keep a little bucket there and just keep it damp, get all the all the loose sanding stuff off. And that's kind of how I get around if I'm, now I've got like better places, but right now it's really cold, and if I got to sand, especially paint. If it's just like 3D print stuff, I don't worry about it as much. But if I'm sanding painted surfaces, I always try to do it with just wet sand it so I don't get that paint stuff everywhere. I think it feels better too, personally. My preference, like sanding it, dry sanding just feels bad to me. Although it's not bad, plenty of people do it, but I can't stand the feel of it. And that's a me thing. It's not really like a piece of advice or anything. I just hate the way it feels. Oh no! Oh, I'm still flying. So yeah. Anyway, that's that. All right, I'm gonna call this thing. I think put this down so I control every time it goes to start. I'm like, I'm gonna put it down, and then it starts flying again. And I'm like, actually, let me crash one more time. But yeah, wet sanding is my preference for tactile reasons and for dust reasons. But I don't know what your setup is like. I mean, sometimes I'll literally just sand over the sink and just run the water a little bit, just rinse it off, putting all that great dust right down the drain. It's probably bad, but there's worse things it can do than a little bit of sanding dust, which could just go in the air and end up in my lungs. So, yeah, the RX droid that I'm doing right now is just, I printed so much of it on like these really low settings that are like 3 millimeter, 0.3 millimeter layer height with a 0.8 millimeter nozzle on the printer. And so it's like, at the cusp of what is acceptable, really. So I got to sand it quite a bit, which I expected, but people are like, oh, you got to sand so much. But I get it off the printer really fast, and I get really paranoid that stuff is going to crash on the printer before it's done. So the faster I can get the print out of there, that I'm like, I'm relieved. I don't have to deal with it. I'm just making at my computer desk in my bedroom. Wow, yeah, that I could understand that being a prohibiting factor. Where are you at? Somewhere where it's cold right now? Is it hard to work outside currently, or is it like right now, like where I'm at? I'm in California, but it's freaking cold where I'm at. And I mean, this morning it was like 22 degrees when I woke up, so it's pretty chilly. And I've got a pretty good garage space at this house now, which is awesome. But even with that space, the garage is not, I don't have any kind of like climate control in there. So it gets very, very cold in there. And it gets hot in there in the summertime. And I think probably this year I'm going to, it's a 3-car garage, and one, like the single car side, I'm going to close off. It'll still have the door, like the big garage door, so I can open it, but I'm going to close off one half, and that's going to become more like my printer area and, a little work zone, and then one part of that's going to become a paint booth. And I'll be able to sand in there, and I can probably put like a little AC unit in that side and cool it down when I'm working in there, which would be nice, or heat it depending on what's going on. But currently it's just a big 3-car garage, and it's got like no insulation on the doors, on the garage door, and it's got vents in the wall, which are going to be good for the paint booth, but they also just let cool air in really, really a lot, which is not the best. If I go out there in the middle of the night, it's just so freaking cold. And my temperature sensor on one of my printers always like times out. I get a min temp error if if I'm going to go print. It's so cold when it starts up that it thinks the sensor is having an issue, so I have to blow hair dryer on the freaking nozzle to get the min temp error to go away, which is so cool. So I keep a hair dryer right there next to the printer just for that. Well, yeah, anyway, it's great. All right, let me see here if I can do a pass and not crash. God, I feel like when I want to crash, everything goes so smoothly. There we go. Cool. All right, I'm going to call it on that. Oh yeah, I'm in Palmdale. I'm in Lancaster, so we're super close. Party time. So you're like right down the street from me. We would probably watch the same like planes fly over. I probably already knew that, and then I'm just like talking to people, like not knowing everybody's last names, and be like, "Oh yeah, I've probably hung out," and then I go, "Oh yeah, that Neil." This whole time, thinking I'm talking to a total stranger, which is my life, being awkward as shit. Oh damn it. Yeah, so we're super close. It's freaking been cold up here in the Antelope Valley. Like super chilly times. It was like the last week. What was it, like in the teens? One of the nights. It was very very cold. Then previously I was in North Hollywood, and we had a standalone garage, which was great. You've probably seen it on a bunch of my videos. And the guy that lived in the house before us was this famous like session guitarist named Phil X, who has played for like Bon Jovi and all. Just really, he's played on tons of people's albums and stuff. Very very good guitarist. I didn't know who he was before he moved in there, but a bunch of his random stuff was still at the house. But what was cool is that he had turned the standalone garage, which is essentially like a smaller 2-car garage, he had turned it into a recording studio. So it was all like soundproof ceiling, everything soundproof ceiling and walls. So it had like 6 inches of insulation all around the whole room to buffer out all the exterior noise, and then also keep the noise in. So when he's practicing or playing, it wouldn't affect the neighbors. And it was great because not only was it soundproof, but it was also very very insulated. So he had an AC unit in there that worked great, and it would stay very cool in there. When you turn the AC on, it would be like nice and chilly. I just got back yesterday from the Midwest at a single digit temps. Yeah, that's too freaking cold. Yeah, it's I like when it's cold, but also like I'm excited for when it warms up a little bit. Because right now I'm like sitting in my downstairs wearing a scarf and a jacket and a sweatshirt. It's a little much, and I'm always wearing. My head gets cold really easy, and so I'm like wearing beanies all the time. The whole winter I've got hats on and stuff, just fine. But I prefer to not wear a hat if I can, because that's just more comfortable. That's more comfortable. But where were you in the Midwest? You said right here. Funny part is people here today were dressed the same as people in Missouri with freezing temps. That would be me. I'm that guy because I get super cold. So when it's cold, I'm like crazy bundled up. I got like thermal underwear on, and sweatpants, and my legs are honestly a little cold right now still. And I'm indoors with like the heat on a little bit. Oh my god, can I get this faster? Oh my god. See, I start to get toward the end of the night, I start flying a little crazy. Oh damn it. Alright, I keep saying I'm gonna call it, but this is pretty fun to do. Then, do you ever wear your Mando suit anywhere? Like, is it something that you wear, or is it kind of like a display thing? And go. It's funny because I know there's like a delay, and so I'll talk, and then it'll be like a minute later you've said something that I was talking about, like, oh, there it is, it popped up. And then probably the time you hear my response is probably like 40 seconds past when you wrote it, so I apologize for the delay. Can I cut under that truck there? Oh, shoot. I just made Mando stuff to give as gifts, not full suit. I see. I kind of want to do a full Mando suit eventually. I just like them, but I don't have tons of room for the stuff. I've got 50 projects already, but it is like a thing on my list. I think I've got files for other parts. I don't know if it's like the full Beskar one or like the first season Mando before he like upgrades his armor. Because I got those files at some point. I think I got like the more upgraded ones, the 3D print, and I just haven't done it yet. I kind of do the thing where I collect a bunch of 3D files for things with like the intent that one day I'm gonna make this. But realistically, I got to look around and be like, how much crap do I need? I already have way too much stuff, and so when I go, do I need to have another Mando suit? Because every costume I make is it's literally like a person standing in my house, just standing there taking up space. So like currently in my bedroom, I think I've got 6 mannequins or something that will eventually be in my workshop, like closed off area that I was talking about. They'll live in there eventually, but right now they're in the house. And then I've got, I don't know, 3 or 4 other costumes that are not on mannequins that deserve to be. And it's just, again, it's like having a bunch of guests over standing around, taking up space in my room. I watch Twitch a lot. I'm used to the delay. That's cool. You know what's funny is like, I have never ever used Twitch. A long time ago, I was going to set up an account, and apparently my screen name was already taken. I don't know if it's one of those things where it auto generates your screen name based on something else, but I was like, somebody's got my screen name? I was like, all right. And then I just never signed up. I was like, nope, I guess that's it. I've never used it. I've never gone in there and watched anything. And people are like, you should do live stream on Twitch. I'm like, I would, but I just don't have my same social media name, so I guess I'm just never going to use it. I guess it shouldn't matter. I could just always set up something different or change the name a little bit, but back. Oh my god. So where do you hang out around Palmdale? Do you ever go back to the aqueduct or anything? Go walk around? So I don't go out too much out here. When I was in North Hollywood, I would like be out all the time on my bicycle doing stuff, but I just don't do it as much. It's been, since we moved out here, it's been really busy, and it's just, I haven't really had time. And whenever I'm in town, I will go ride my bike or go run or do that kind of stuff. My typical places like Griffith Park or wherever, but and I'm in town all the time, so I just try to incorporate the stuff I already like to do when I lived over there and just continue to do that. But I don't explore too much. I kind of want to go start mountain biking around Acton and stuff, because there's all these cool trails. Oh god, there's all these cool trails and like mountain places that I could oh my god, I did not crash out. That is wild. I normally sleep here. I work in Burbank. I spend most of my free time commuting to work. I know that deal. I don't work in town every day, but I'm probably in town a couple times a week usually for this, that, or the other. There have been many days when I've had to commute every single day, and boy, that commute sucks at the wrong times. And if anybody needs me to be in work at like 8 in the morning, I just want to it's the worst. If it's like 6 in the morning, it's, it sucks getting up early, but it's not so bad to like, it's not quite so bad to, oh, damn it. It's not as bad of a drive when it's that early versus like that 8 a.m. drive that I'm sure you know, where it's just like that Santa Clarita traffic is just awful. I cannot figure out how they mess it up so bad. There's all these lanes, and for some reason nobody can use them right. It makes me crazy. And I'm from Florida, and they will give you a ticket. Like if you're driving slow in the left-hand lane, you get a ticket. And here, just go slow whatever lane, and it causes all this. Causes all the traffic. Whoa, OBS just disconnected, reconnected successfully. That was weird. Sorry, I dropped out there. I got a little OBS glitch. I don't know if it's my computer freaking out or maybe the my internet might have like blipped for a second. Oh my god. All right, I'm gonna call it. I'm just playing this thing forever, so I'm gonna quit here and go do other stuff because I've been on for a while. That was like kind of a long one for me. Thanks for hanging out. I appreciate all the questions and stuff. It's I blame Spectrum. It probably is Spectrum's fault. Those sons of bitches. Thanks for hanging out with me, and then I'll probably be back tomorrow to do some like work stuff, do ZBrush, and then yeah, I think I'm gonna go read the entire Part 107 licensing PDFs. There's like a couple. Like the study guide and then like the FAA book that you need to learn. I might literally read the whole thing on YouTube and then do commentary because I started reading it and some of it's not that it's so complicated, it's just a lot to remember. So I feel like if I read it out loud I'll remember it better and maybe it'll be helpful to other people. I don't know. We'll find out. But anyway, thanks for stopping by.